everyone. My name is Emma Rhodes, and I am the founder of Her Leadership Journey, which is an online community and support network for women in corporate who would like a career through leadership and management. And today I am joined with a wonderful special guest, Shandra Moran. And Shandra is part of my Inner Circle business group, where we meet every couple of weeks. There's just a very small group of us. We share ideas and we've grown our businesses together. And so we've been part of this group for the last couple of years. And so I know Shandra quite well, and she knows me very well. And as a result, she knows all of you very well as well. Shandra, thank you for being here with me today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm super excited to be here.
So we are actually going to talk a little bit for those of you who have reached out to me previously. And when we're talking about your career, where do you want to go? What kind of leader do you want to be, and the legacy that you want to leave? Some of you here inside our community have told me that you have ideas about doing your own thing down the track. So you're not too sure what that might look like, but it's an idea that's kind of tinkering away in the back of your mind there. And of course, that forms part of your career journey, and it forms part of your intentional leadership and where you go. So that's why you've shared it with me. And Shandra just so happens to specialize in helping women, especially, step out of their corporate career and stepping into starting their own, doing their own thing. And so she's got an amazing mentoring month coming up. It's completely free. And so it's called Side Gig September, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But I thought this was perfect time for me to introduce all of you to the wonderful Shandra. And so those of you who have been thinking about doing your own thing, but you have no idea where to start, you don't know if it's for you, you don't know about if it's the right idea, if what's the time required, all of that kind of stuff, your woman is Shandra to help you out with that. So Shandra, welcome. Let's get started with telling everyone a little bit about you, because you have come from the corporate environment. You've been through this whole process and you've stepped out and you've started your own thing. And now you're helping other women to do that exact same thing. So let's go back to your corporate career. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So it's funny, I don't think of it as a corporate career, but that's because I worked in radio. And so many, many years ago, decades ago, I worked in radio and I loved it. And I went up the ranks quite quickly in terms of, like, every 12 to 18 months, I just kept getting promoted, and I loved it. I loved the environment. I loved how dynamic and creative it was. But as a self-confessed workaholic, the industry wasn't good for me, because it's a 24/7 beast, and as much as you could work, and so did work. And so I really pushed myself quite hard in that role, and I achieved, a senior level in the radio industry and in the station that I was in. But I got to a point where I just really wasn't very satisfied with what I was doing. It just felt a little bit superficial for me. And so I made the decision to not renew my contract, and everyone thought I was crazy because I had this dream job and, all of this. And I didn't even really know exactly what I wanted to do, but I, through some reflection and working with a coach, realized that my real passion was around people development. And at that time, I didn't even realize that coaching existed as a profession, but I found out that it did. And I went and got accredited as a coach back when no one really knew what that was. And I did that for a little while, and then ended up combining my two loves of creative, dynamic working environments and human potential. And I worked with a learning and development company. Loved that job, loved the business. But over time, we got a new CEO. She had a very different way of operating, and we had a bit of a values conflict, and I just kept getting sick all the time. And I eventually was diagnosed with severe adrenal fatigue, which is burnout. Basically, I'd been pushing myself too hard for too long, and particularly the last year or so, pushing myself in a direction that was at odds with what I believed in and how I wanted to live and work. And so that diagnosis gave me the opportunity to reassess what was really most important for me. And so I resigned from that job and started the Transit Lounge, started my own business. And since then, I've been absolutely committed to working with individuals and organizations who want to live and work aligned to their values, because I believe that you can still be a bit of a workaholic. You can love your work, but when you are aligned to your values in what you're doing for work, it can be energizing and nurturing rather than just pushing yourself in things that don't actually matter that much to you. And so now I still struggle. Like I am a workaholic, and I have to admit that, but I love what I do. And so I just see myself as having, job crafted to create a business that really works for me, to support more people than I could in the various roles that I had in the background. So that gives some context. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. And I think the values alignment is so huge, because we talk a lot, or you hear a lot of talk about this work-life balance, and you can't go over your set 38 hours or 38 and a half hours a week, otherwise you're just going to burn out. But for those of us who absolutely love what we do, it's not like that, right? It doesn't feel like that. Yes, you have to be able to switch off so you can enjoy the rest of your life circle, which includes family and friends and health and all of that kind of stuff. But I think if we don't take the time to understand those values and actually what drives us and what energizes us, then we're always going to come up against some of these walls. And in your case, it was you were getting sick all the time. That was your taps on the shoulder telling you, hey, something's not right. And if you weren't aware of your values alignment and how they were completely, clashing, you could have just kept going and going and going, get some pills, put a Band-Aid over the top, and then gone straight back into it again.
Yeah, totally. And I think I remember quite vividly sitting across from my naturopath and getting that diagnosis after the tests that I did. And I remember feeling relieved. I felt relieved that I had an excuse for how I was feeling, which I think there's so much more wrapped up in that, but that I wasn't just being a wuss. I remember feeling that. And I also remember feeling very grateful that it wasn't worse, that, that diagnosis was a shot over the bow, kind of saying, hey, you keep going down this path and there's a world more pain ahead for you, or you use this as an opportunity to make some significant decisions to change the trajectory of your life. And so it did give me that opportunity. So I'm very grateful for that diagnosis and being open and willing to go down that path to find out, okay, what's going on, and actually going. And another memory that's so vivid from that era is I remember having been through, strategy sessions at work and trying, because I was head of people and culture, right? And so I was trying to rally the troops behind this direction that I was like, I don't really know about this one. And I remember this day where I was just exhausted, and I was driving to work and thinking about what was ahead of me that day. And I remember gripping the steering wheel, trying to hold back the tears. And just, I'm not a crier. And for me, that was a big thing of wake up call of like, Chandra, you shouldn't be crying on your way to work. Like something's really not right here. And so, after I pulled over so I could have a ball and not cause an accident, I know that was a moment of really shifting up a gear to lead me towards that decision of maybe I actually need to leave this job. And that was a hard decision because Mick and I, we own a number of properties. We have, various mortgages and a modern lifestyle and all of those sorts of commitments. So to make the decision to walk away from a six-figure salary to start my own business when I had underlying health issues was not necessarily fiscally the most responsible thing, but I was also very fortunate to have made choices to give me a buffer to be able to make that decision. So, there's a lot of I guess, pieces that contributed to that decision and I guess bolstered my desire since then to be supporting as many women as possible to make an informed decision about what the next chapter of their work life looks like, so they don't stay in a job or a career that is essentially slowly killing them because they don't feel they have a sense of choice. And that's where the side gig idea and pathway, I think can be a really good one for women who are passionate about, either what they do and they just want to transfer that into doing it for themselves instead of somebody else, or women that are high achievers, passionate, creative, savvy women that can make stuff happen, but they've been doing this for a decade or more. But there's this other thing that they love, that they actually would really love to be able to turn into a business, to have it be the next chapter of their work life, and to be able to transfer those skills and experience that they've had in their career into starting a side gig that can be a great experiment, a low risk experiment to test out, what does that look like? What does it feel like? Is it what I thought it would be? Because sometimes we make decisions about, this is what I think I want to do. And then you get to do it and you go, oh, that didn't feel exactly like I thought it would. So maybe that's not what I want to do. Yeah. So having that experiment mindset is a really a good strategy to take. And that's where I think the side gig opportunity, particularly now, can be a great pathway.
And I love that. And your business is called the Transit Lounge, which is just so great. I love it. You're transiting from one to another, and you made some really good points around, being fiscally responsible. And that is one of the stopping points, because so many women say, oh, I'd love to do it, but I can't leave my job to do it. So this is where we're introducing this side gig. And you have this concept of Side Gig September, and it's a whole mentoring month.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit. We're going to get into, exactly the breakdown and what you're actually going to go through in that month in a minute. But talk to me about the whole transition from career into side gig. What does that look like? So how can we identify where we might be at in that transition?
Yeah. And I think one of the first things is actually to realize that there is a pathway, there's stages. You don't just go from, oh, I've got this great idea, to, oh, my business is up and running and I'm replaced my corporate salary. Unfortunately, for most people, it doesn't look like that. And so I've kind of identified, some stages or chunks, if you like, of the process. The first one of the 5 stages is to actually make the decision that this is something that you want, that you've kind of got your idea and you think, I really think I want to give this a red hot crack. And that there's something that kicks in when you make that decision. So that's stage 1. You've got to kind of go from what I call side gig curious, which is, maybe I'll just get a job with a different company and then I'll be happy. There's a difference between that and going, oh, I've decided I want to at least try this business opportunity through a side gig. So that's stage 1. Second stage is you've got to have something to sell. And whether that's a product or a service, you've got to be asking yourself, do I have a thing that if someone wanted to buy it from me, can I sell it? And so that's a whole piece of tasks and actions and activities depending on your product or service that will need to happen in that phase. Third phase is, do you have a way that people can give you money? How are people going to pay you for this? Because that's the difference between a hobby and a business. And there's different ways depending on what you're offering about how people will pay you. Stage 4 is, do you have an audience that is warm, knows you and knows what it is that you do and you offer, that you can make offers to? And stage 5 is crafting and running specific offers to say, hey, here's my thing. Do you want to buy it? And basically they're the 5 stages, and that you can identify, well, where am I at, on those stages? And people will be at different stages. And sometimes you might have to go back and revisit a stage, but it can be a really good way of knowing that most people, and particularly the audience that in your community, are time poor. They've got a busy, important job and other commitments outside of work already. So you want to use the time that you have to be as effective and productive as you can, not spinning your wheels, being scattergun, bouncing between, oh, I'm trying to, create my offer of what I'm selling, but now I'm also like going, oh, but hang on, where's my audience? I don't know, you know, where they are, who they are, or anything else. So it's good, I think, to have a bit of a pathway to see, okay, I'm here, I'm focusing on that. When I've allocated my time of when I'm working on the business, I know these are the things that I need to tick off. So, and that's where you'll see yourself make more progress and get momentum, rather than kind of going in and going, okay, I have to take off my work hat, put on my business owner hat, remind myself, what am I trying to do here? And what's my task? And you spend, of the 2 hours that you've allocated to work on your business, you spend an hour and a half trying to figure out what you got to do. And then you only got 30 minutes to try and smash something out. So I think that's where I like having frameworks and stages to help rein in the focus, to make the best use of the time that people have when they're, you know, starting the side gig.
Yeah, definitely. Time is one of those big things that will stop people. So it's generally time and money. I think, you know, we've kind of uncovered that it's well, I need the money from my job, so therefore I can't do anything else. And I absolutely used to be in this mindset of having one or the other. You couldn't do both because, you know, it would just be too complicated. However, I have learned that that is the wrong way to think about it. As long as you follow some of the things that Chandra talks about, you can actually do that. And currently I am doing that. For those of you who know, I have gone back to a career in terms of back to workplace, being an employee, doing some executive recruitment, but I still have her leadership journey as my side hustle. And I'm absolutely loving the journey that we're going through here. So share with us some of the things that you'll be talking through in our Side Gig September. Tell us more about the details around Side Gig September.
Yeah, awesome. So Side Gig September is Australia's first mentoring month for career women who want to be their own boss. And it really came about because I kept noticing in myself from my early days, and also with women that I work with, you know, some common mistakes that women make when they're trying to create a side gig. And one is not allocating some disciplined time around when they're working on their business. A second one is being too broad and offer, like having too many different things or too many different types of people that they want to work with. A third thing is doing the lone wolf, which I definitely did. I had gone from essentially running a radio station and having all of the answers. I knew how things worked, and I was like the go-to, to going into a situation where it was like, you know, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. And I was like, I don't even know what half those things mean. And it was really daunting to go from knowing all the answers and how to do what I did well into feeling like, oh my God, I've gone back to kindergarten and I'm trying to learn these new things. And I felt a bit embarrassed sometimes about admitting how much, you know, there was a struggle and things that I didn't know. So the lone wolf approach just slows you down. So that's a mistake that people make. And the fourth one is that because we are high achieving, passionate career women, we want to have everything perfect. And we can tell ourselves, well, no, I'm going to wait until I've saved enough money to be able to quit my job, and then I'll start and it'll be great because I can focus on it full time. And look, for some people, that may be the right decision for them to make. But the reality is that when you're starting a business, for 98% of people, things take longer than you think they are going to. And things will evolve as you get started. You'll test something and, you know, maybe some of it works, some of it doesn't. Maybe you'll go, actually, I didn't really enjoy that as much as I thought. Maybe I'm going to tweak things. So don't wait too long to get started, which is why I think the side gig opportunity can be great. Not necessarily for everyone, but for women with the right kind of attitude and situation, it can allow them some safety nets around experimenting to refine what they really want to do, what their messaging actually is, without feeling like, you know, if I don't sell X number of packages or products or whatever this month, I can't pay my bills. Nothing is going to handbrake your creativity faster than financial stress. And so pulling that ripcord too soon from the reliable employee income can be have a devastating impact on business growth. But, you know, there's a number of different ways that people can extract from a corporate gig. And I think there's no one right way, because people's circumstances are different, whether it's stage of life, whether it's financial requirements to maintain their lifestyle, whether it's around a tolerance for risk. All those kinds of things do come into play. For some people, the rip it off like a Band-Aid, like I did, potentially might be the right way to go, but it does bring with it some downside that you know, it's a bit more of a rocky ride in something that's already has its challenges. So knowing those common mistakes, and knowing that there's a lot of women, I believe, particularly at the moment, that are really, as post-COVID, thinking about, is this really what I want to be doing for the rest of my work life? And thinking about what might be next. And so what I wanted to do was provide an opportunity to help guide them, provide a little bit of support in a safe and open environment. And so Side Gig September is an online side gig mentoring month. It's going to include a whole range of tips and resources. There's going to be some specialist workshops that are going to be guiding women on identifying where they're at on the transit scale, as I call it, which is what stage are they at, and therefore what are the tasks and actions that they need to be focusing on, so they don't waste their time or spin their wheels on the wrong things, and they can start to see progress and momentum. So that's going to be one of the things, of identifying where are they at and what do they need to focus on achieving. Then also looking at how do they find and allocate time and space for them to think about and work on their business. And because that's really important, without allocating the time, your business is not going to get started or grow. So there are a couple of things. We're also going to have a week that is dedicated to marketing foundations, because one of the things that a lot of the time we don't know about or think about enough is the importance of marketing. You can have the best product or service in the world, but you can't just wait and hope to be found. And so learning about marketing, and there's some foundational things we're going to cover. We're going to have a challenge week, if you like, with one daily quick task to do each day, so that you can build that foundational piece for marketing. And then there's going to be a workshop called Your Transit Plan, which is really looking at the inner and outer game of working for yourself, because there's a lot of tactical things and practical things that you will need to learn and to do. But underpinning all of those is mindset. Who are you, and how are you showing up? What attitude, beliefs, and energy are you bringing to shift your mindset from an employee mindset to a business owner mindset? So there's a workshop dedicated to that as well. But it's really a month designed to help women that are side gig curious, or perhaps they've early days in their side gig, that they know, all right, if I want to see if I can scale this, the month is designed to support them to focus and to get clarity, to make decisions and take action, to get that momentum going and get their business growing, so they can get it to a point, or see if it's going to be something that they can grow, to be able to choose to leave their corporate job if that's what they decide to do.
Wow, that is so much stuff happening inside that month. And so much help.
Yeah, and also one of my big things about when I envisaged for myself, what does my next chapter of work life look like? One of the things that was very strong for me was, I want to have a Geoflexible business. And what that means for me, I think I made up that term. I don't know, but I'm claiming it, which basically just means I want to be able to work from wherever I happen to be at that time. So at the moment, I'm in Noosa and staying in an Airbnb, and I'm working from here. So yep, we're going out for beautiful walks by the ocean in the morning and whatever, but working from here at the moment. But for Side Gig September, it's not perfect, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But for a big chunk of the time, I'm going to be in Koh Samui, which is a beautiful little island in the Gulf of Thailand. And my husband and I were meant to be there in June, but it didn't work out because of various other things. It's not necessarily ideal to be in a small island during this great month that I've planned. but it's me demonstrating being Geoflexible and how you can actually be running a business that still allows you to be where you want to be, doing the work that you want, and contributing the impact that you want to have as well. So fingers crossed, there could be some interesting train wrecks ahead, but it's going to be fun.
So that's another reason to tune in for Side Gig September. Those of you who want some beautiful scenery, you want to have a little tour of Koh Samui, you need to sign up for Side Gig September for all of Chandra. So what I'm getting from this is really for those of you who have been thinking about whether or not this might be a pathway for you, whether you're ready right now, whether you're ready in a year. Chandra is putting this on. It's an entire month of free mentoring. So if it's something that you've been thinking you might want to do, you want to leave your corporate, it's kind of not filling your buckets anymore. You're doing the best that you can. You're a great leader. You're a great manager. You inspire other people. You're developing your confidence and your influence. And but you just kind of, there's always this little knock at the door. Maybe there's something else that I want to be doing for myself. And I know there is, because many of you have actually told me that, and you've mentioned it in our Facebook Lives, and you've mentioned it to me one-on-ones as well. So this is your chance to jump onto it now. Chandra said it's the first one ever to be held in Australia, focused solely on that transition from corporate to owning your own business. So where can we sign up for this amazing month, Chandra?
Yes, I will share a link that maybe you can share with
we'll pop links in
your members. So it's thetransitlounge.com/Side Gig September. And there's more information about what's going to be covered and included in the across the month. And, you know, you can join, the sooner that you join in the month, obviously more goodness that you get to enjoy. But if you're watching this and September's already started, that's okay. You can still jump in and get access to recordings of the past little live Q&As, etc. There's a private pop-up Facebook group just for the month of September, so you can jump in there. And there's going to be prizes too, because the universe and Chandra likes to reward action. So there's going to be, you know, taking small actions. It will put you in the draw to win some great weekly prizes as well.
That's amazing. And if you can only make one or two of those throughout the month of September, make them. Don't think that just because you can't go to everything that's on offer that it's just a write-off. No, I'll get the next one, because guess what? At this point, there is not a next one.
Exactly.
So this is your time.
Next September.
Next September, of course. So this is your time to jump on it. Even if you can only make one of those things, go and do it for you. And remember to have the courage and to be brave, to peek out, have a look over the nest and start to investigate some of the things that might be hidden deep within your heart, but are really aligning to your personal values. Because those of you who've been around with me for a while know that I am very big on living the life that you choose to live, and that life is too short to settle for anything less. So that is why I bring you amazing people like Chandra who are doing amazing things out there. This is not going to be for all of you, but for those of you who have just gone, oh yes, I think I need to get on this, this is your time to do it. So there are links around here to go and sign up. It's completely free. It goes for a whole month. Make what you can, get the information and the, I guess, the insights that you need to help you move forward from here, and know that there are people like Chandra here to help you to do that. So Chandra, I want to thank you for sharing this. I want to say an amazing opportunity for Side Gig September. Is there anything final you would like to leave us with other than make sure we sign up?
Yeah, look, I mean, I would love anyone that's watching this that is side gig curious, or even if they've started baby steps around their idea, to just jump in and to give yourself that gift of being able to have just a few pockets of time across this 1 month of going, if I was going to do this, what would it look like? And where am I at? And to start to take those small steps, because that's, as I said, where you get momentum. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be doing this, to connect with. I love meeting women and finding out about what they're passionate about and what their idea is. So would love if you come and join, make sure you say hello and just tell me that Emma sent you.
Nice. And I will be in there as well. I'm going to hang around for the month and make what I can make as well. Yeah, so I'll see you all in there. Thank you so much, Chandra. And we'll see you all in Side Gig September coming up. Yeah.